What if HISUIAN ARCANINE was a Gen 1 OU? Now, if you don't know much about regular Arcanine and Gen 1 OU, that is because it's just straight up not a thing. Like, even Pokemon that are bad like Charizard have some... Okay, they don't really have any good merit in Gen 1, but you'll definitely see it on the ladder, especially like the low ladder. But Arcanine has truly nothing going for it. 80 special, decent attack, but look at these moves. You don't even have Fire Spin, you don't have like Earthquake, you just have like Fire Blast, Body Slam, Hyper Beam, and then everything else is just kind of mid. It's truly one of the worst fully evolved Pokemon in the game, and that's really unfortunate. But luckily HISUIAN Arcanine is significantly better, but still kind of struggles. But look at that, it has 95 special attack. Now for its regular stats, it would be a 80 special defense, so still the same. But luckily with that rock typing, you have some more resistances. The main one that matters being more normal. However, having a resistance towards Drill Peck can be pretty handy as well. You hit harder with Fire Blast, that's definitely nice. You actually do get Fire Spin, so that alone is just great. Every fire type should have access to Fire Spin, which allows you to trap things. And with 90 base speed, that is outspeeding a good chunk of the metagame. Very handy. The most important ones you're outspeeding is Executor, Victory Belt, and Cloyster. Cloyster is still very risky, but it's still going to allow you to potentially beat it in a 1v1, which is all you can ask for. You also have Body Slam, Substitute Agility, these are pretty cool, and Raging Fury. A signature move that is basically just Outrage, but it's basically Gen 3 Outrage, aka it is a special move in Gen 1, and the exact same base power as Fire Blast. Or at least it would be in Gen 1, I'm pretty sure. Yep, 120, with a 30% chance to burn. So because of that, I'm gonna say Fire Blast is still more handy than its signature. Which I know it's nice to be able to save more power points, and way more importantly, it is really nice to have a more accurate move. But Fire isn't really that great of an offensive type in Gen 1. You're hitting things neutrally, but you also have things that resist it, such as Rhydon and the water types. And yes, being strong against the grass types is very handy, but Ice also does that. And there's not really anything Fire does that Ice doesn't do better, because Water resists both of them, but Ice hits the grass types harder and hits Rhydon, not to mention has the devastating freeze chance. So that kind of sucks. And Rock Slide is just it's good you have it. It sucks you don't have Earthquake. That is just crazy. But Rock Slide with Stab does hit as hard as a regular Earthquake. And this does give you super effective coverage against Zapdos, which otherwise would have been a Pokemon you would struggle against. So that's, yeah, honestly not that bad. It has pretty good HP and defense. Good attack for the time. It's a good mixed attacker. And to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced that Hyper Beam is necessary. It probably is. Hyper Beam probably is the one move you can switch other things out for. For example, maybe Body Slam to fish for paralysis. Now, let's just go over the elephant in the room. Its typing is just kind of bad. You have a quadruple weakness to ground, which is just... I mean, it's bad. Like, Snorlax is neutral, or not neutral, non-stab Earthquake, has a damage range to OHKO. And I didn't do enough replays with Tauros to see if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure it's also just a range to where you can OHKO as well. Really not good. And let's not even talk about Rhydon. You need to burn Rhydon just so that its Earthquake brings you to the red. That's how bad it is. And you know what's even worse? I kind of forgot it while making the replays, but he's weak to ice. Fire does not resist ice. Oh, actually, no, it's a rock type. I guess it wouldn't be weak to ice. But instead of being weak to ice, I guess you would have a quadruple weakness to water. Which, I'll be honest, unlike ground, that's not really a big deal. Because, let's be real, you weren't beating Swabro anyways. And you are not a big enough threat to where Starmie needs to consider using Surf just for pursuing an Arcanine. Yeah, so it really struggles. The point where I think he would struggle a lot in OU. And I'm not sure if he would be an OU Pokemon. And he would probably struggle in UU as well. Not just because of the water types, but also for Dugtrio being a fast ground type that can easily OHKO. But I do think Hisuian Arcanine would be too much for NU, however. Because you're good against the other fire types like Charizard, while also just being a good rock type with a strong base power move as well as base attack. So I don't know. I could see... Or can I see Arcanine in OU still? No matter what, it's definitely going to see niche play, just like any other non-OU Pokemon that can be used. But I genuinely could not tell you what tier Hisuian Arcanine ends up in. Because even though Arcanine does suffer a lot, it would suffer a lot in UU as well, thanks to the water types and ground types. At the same time, the normal types like Dodrio can do absolutely nothing to Arcanine. And Arcanine, unlike other fire types, at the very least has strong moves like Rock Slide to hit the water types with. And obviously Dugtrio doesn't actually want to switch into a Fire Blast. Plus Fire Spin is always good for pivoting. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below where you think Hisuian Arcanine would be. For now, let's get on to the replays. Starting off with the boy himself, we got Tauros. And that is a lot of damage. That is 99. I don't even care to see how strong that Fire Blast hits. It's just not doing well. And technically we don't even need to see. With base 95 special attack, that means Arcanine's Fire Blast is hitting just as hard as Jinx's Blizzard. So you could just play Gen 1 right now to see how that does. Now we have a few Snorlax replays to go over. Fire Blast does decent damage, but Earthquake absolutely does more. And like I said, I did do a damage, made another replay. I don't think I kept it for this video, but I have seen Earthquake just flat out OHKO Arcanine before. So if you don't get the burn, you're just hoping for Fire Spin. And yeah, that's kind of scummy. But to be honest, would you even stay in with Arcanine against full HP Snorlax? Obviously not. But I guess, unlike with regular Tauros, it seems like since you are faster with that chance to burn, it's not completely unwinnable. You definitely have a shot, but it's still very, very risky. To the point where I wouldn't really risk it. But at the same time, if you are using a physical Snorlax, do you risk getting the burn? Because Arcanine isn't a big enough threat, I would say, towards worth risking your Snorlax. But it also just depends on what moves they have, I guess. So, who really knows? One thing I do know is that the Amnesia Wax set was kind of weird. I'm not really sure where to rank this one, because with Amnesia, obviously Fire Blast is kind of worthless, but Arcanine is still a mixed attacker that does a fourth with Rock Slide. So I guess Snorlax can't really set up with Amnesia, or maybe it can, maybe just got unlucky here. I don't know where to rank this. I really don't. I guess it would technically be in Arcanine's favor. Just because they can keep fishing for crits, and Snorlax will probably die eventually. But if I played more offensively, would Ice Beam have been enough to kill here? Once again, you're going to let me know what you think in the comments. I always appreciate your guys' output. And yeah, I guess something else I'll say is definitely join the Discord server. I'd love to have you there. I host tournaments based off these what-if scenarios, and they're always a lot of fun, so be sure to do that. So, this is just a could go either way. Snorlax, I'd say on paper, usually has more advantages, But with a better crit rate, Arcanine can definitely just win out of nowhere. Same thing when it comes to its burn chance. And Chansey. I think Arcanine did okay with this replay, but overall, it's just so annoying for Arcanine to the point where I don't think it's really worth it. Fire Spin and Fire Blast are basically worthless. Rock Slide does a lot of damage, which is really nice, but Chansey has both Paralysis and Soft Bullet on her side, so Chansey a lot of the time can just heal off, and Arcanine can't do much about it. It doesn't have Sword Stance, I don't think. But then again, Arcanine is still a physical attacker who does a lot of damage, but again, you got something like Reflect. Arcanine got lucky there and got the crit, but if Chansey has Reflect, Arcanine is just screwed. And Reflect Chansey, just like Reflect Snorlax, are pretty popular. Now Zam, I don't have much to say for this one. Both of them can just hit each other decently hard. Arcanine hits a little bit harder, but Zam has special drops and crits on its side, along with technically Recover and Thunder Wave as well. But I don't think either one has a definitive edge over the other. Next up is Cloyster, and it's terrifying for both parties involved. Fire Spin could be used to pivot, or not just pivoting, just getting Cloyster in the damage range, which, while it's very risky, unfortunately I think is kind of mandatory. And Clamp, at least with 2 Clamps you might survive, but that's probably not going to happen. But at the same time, Cloyster could miss with Clamp, but you can miss with Fire Spin as well, or miss with Fire Blast. So I think it's just say could go either way, where I don't think either one has a big advantage over the other. But Cloyster is more likely to have Chip because of having to deal with other big threats such as Tauros and Snorlax. So I feel like more often than not, it's going to be Arcanine who can get the upper hand. Which, I can't really say the same for this replay. Unfortunately, having to miss a Fire Spin like that could be really bad. If Arcanine did get hit with a special drop, it would have been very bad there. But it didn't. So even though Arcanine kind of got pretty low here, in general, I'd call this a great matchup, because obviously Exeggutor doesn't risk Arcanine in the first place, and with Fire Spin, you can very easily get Exeggutor into a good damage range. Alright, next off, I believe this is Gengar. And even though you don't have Earthquake, you kind of take Gengar's attacks pretty well, but you do a third with Rock Slide, and as you saw there, Thunderbolt's only a 4-hit KO. So you're fine. Not much Gengar can do. Doesn't really risk it. Surprising, but good for Arcanine. Now Jolteon does have that super effective double kick, but I'm just gonna give you a spoiler, it's just wiser to use Thunderbolt. And I guess Jolteon would have a better matchup, because especially it's tankier, and has a better crit rate and can paralyze. So I don't know, would you call this could go either way, or would you call this a bad matchup? I keep saying it this video, but a lot of these I'm just very undecisive on. So once again, let me know in the comments. And Jinx, you hit Jinx pretty hard. You hit about as hard as those Earthquakes hit you. 99%, pretty nice. And I'm really glad that I didn't just forget about being weak to Ice. Good thing it's a Rock type and not a Ground type. Because if Jinx had super effective Blizzards, that would significantly change how this matchup goes. And we are almost done with all of these. I haven't checked the time yet, but I feel like this is going faster than usual. And here's Rhydon. And like I said, you need to burn it just to go to the red. And that is just hilarious. But if you do manage to burn it, not only can you survive, but you also get the really awesome benefit of being able to stall out Rhydon with Burn and Fire Spin. Isn't that fun? Of course not. But you're not risking this in the first place. And even if Arcanine had Earthquake, without how much damage it took from that, from the enemy Earthquake, yeah, Earthquake would not save you there. It's scummy. It's so scummy to where I'm just putting it as an unwinnable matchup. Because you're never going to risk that. It's just stupid. But the matchup against Slowbro is way worse. Because, yeah, you don't even need to use Amnesia. Surf just annihilates you. Very unfortunate, I would say. Now here's the opposite of unfortunate. Or actually, no, wait, no, this is Starmie. I forgot Starmie plays before Victory Bell. Yeah, never mind, this is embarrassing. Because even though Starmie doesn't really run Surf, it does not need it. Blizzard is more than enough to take on Arcanine. Let alone special moves with more power points such as Psychic and Thunderbolt. Starmie can always recover, and even with crits, you can very easily work around that. So Arcanine can never do enough damage to actually threaten the Starmie. Starmie can keep on healing and just kill with Blizzard or any other attacking move it wants. Or it can just get a flex and OHKO with Surf. Because if Slowbro can kill, Starmie most certainly can as well. So even though... So it's a water type, so you would expect it to be unwinnable. But I'm not sure if anyone was expecting to be unwinnable if you just remove the offensive typing up in the first place and just make Starmie just use neutral moves. And by the way, let's not even talk about if you switch Starmie in and have it get burned. We do not want to talk about an immortal Starmie now, do we? Alright, 2 more are left, and this is the one I was trying to foreshadow earlier, the Victory Bell, which obviously just absolutely terrible. Does even worse when you get a critical Fire Spin, but I don't think it matters. I'm pretty sure any Fire Spin, even with just 2 chip, probably would have been enough to OHKO. Victory Bell Special isn't as good as Executor's, but I don't think it matters too much at the end of the day. Victory Bell is not doing anything against Arcanine, and I don't even think it's worth going for a Sweet Powder. Last but not least, we got Zapdos, and unfortunately, unlike other rock types such as Rhydon or even Iron Thorns yesterday, Arcanine can get pretty beat up by Zapdos, and it does really care about the paralysis. But at the same time, Zapdos is just not appreciating those rock slides. But I'm still gonna call this a could go either way, if I'm being honest with you. So here's the tier list. And this is meant to be in could go either way, and I think for now I'll just put this in bad matchups, just so that the tier list looks more even. But it can probably be could go either way as well. Overall, for Pokemon that I'm gonna say won't be OU, it has a pretty good tier list, all things considered. I'm surprised. But to be honest, even if this is a Pokemon that somebody would say would be bad in OU, just because of its quad weaknesses, it's such an improvement over regular Arcanine, it's not even funny. So no matter what, even if it just ended up being a good Pokemon in NU or just NUBL, that is a massive upgrade from Arcanine to where I'm pretty sure everyone can be left satisfied. But what do you think? Do you think HISUIAN Arcanine would not be able to make it in Gen 1 OU? Do you think it would? How do you think it would do in any of the other tiers? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.